Been lying here listening to the high wind, seeing lightning flashes off in the distance. I'm getting started a little later than usual. Something about the rain and the thunder and lightning hasn't had me super in a hurry to unbutton the tent. That is getting closer. Even if I wasn't just on my first cup of coffee, I might hold and see what this is going to do. I got more thunder and lightning coming this way. Something's blowing over me. There is one hell of a rainbow going over there amidst all the hail. So it's about 7:20. The thunder is getting really close to right over me. I'm gonna let this blow over. There's no point in packing up the tent right in the middle of everything, you know? So that supermarket yesterday was a little short on snack food, so I go on more like staple sort of things. These last for a couple of days. They're so salty. Combine them with cheese, that'll get you down the trail. One of my tricks lately has been basically making packets with these sealed guacamole pods and then crackers. Unfortunately, these are not the crackers to bring because yesterday, this is what happened to them. When Jen is with me, I can give her chips and things. She doesn't crush them. I always manage to mash them. It's because I jam the food bag into the pocket, things like that. It is kind of a shame I didn't find out about that outfitter until I was just leaving town, because by then I was already packed and everything. So I have mashed potatoes and Nor sides for dinner. If I had seen the outfitter, if I had gone by on the way in, I probably would have splurged and gotten some, you know, mountain houses and things. Those are just so expensive and bulky compared with the other options I have. Speaking of splurging, I did buy this alpha fleece from them. I thought it was kind of cool that they were sewing their own gear, and I like this material. I wanted to play with it a little more, and I like that it was actually a cool color. The last one I was able to get a hold of, because they can be kind of hard to source sometimes, was curry color, so I bought this, but I'm not getting rid of my Patagonia R1. Reason being, I get rid of zippers on almost everything. You can see I actually have the pullover Torrid on me because zippers are a big failure point for a lot of my gear. So I've again switched to kind of the pullovers. The one exception where I like having a zipper is this fleece because I sweat a lot, and it's nice to be able to vent, and it's nice to be able to get access to these actually have a chest pocket. That would be less of an issue if the R1 didn't have that stupid chest pocket that won't fit a modern phone or anything, but yeah. So I bought it, and these are really light. They're just a couple of ounces. I'm going to carry it till I basically can mail it home, and then I'll use it for other things. I'm just a stickler for supporting through hiker businesses. Not all like local businesses though, because like the Melizamas, I won't even give them the time of day. It is so ridiculous how like overly constricted their stock is and everything, when you can buy arguably the same / better fleeces from Lightheart Gear. And here's the thing, you actually even if they're out of stock, you mail them, they'll make you a grid fleece, and then they will mail it to you within a week or two. You do not have to make a reservation like 6 months in advance and then drive up to Leadville. It's a weird business model. Who knew? Speaking of long delays though, I think I had to wait like 4 months for Enlightened Equipment to get this done. They have been really backed up lately, partially because it is kind of the best deal when it comes to these like puffies, synthetic / light puffies. I had a Ghost Whisperer before this, and that thing MSRP is for like $300, and this is warmer. Being a geeky type and teaching a wilderness class, I do like to play with new gear whenever I can. Obviously these days I have to be a little more conservative on that. Back in the days when I was working full-time, I had literally a double garage just like packed with gear, and I was always buying new stuff to play around with. I have like wood burning stoves and all sorts of, I got rid of a lot of that. These days, like I said, I'm a little more careful on what I try, and I tend to be a little more dialed in on what works for me and my kind of particular style of hiking, hence, you know, stuff like this. And we do live out of a storage locker these days, which is smaller than either of my old garages. So, and we do multiple sports. You know, we have entire sets of like scuba gear, we have the hiking gear, and just kind of the remains of former lives in there. I really want to get set up for bike touring, but we're having to like juggle some things around in there to see if we can get enough space so we could actually store bikes, etc. I used to do bike centuries briefly. I basically got a road bike, did 13 bike centuries, well, 12 and a half bike centuries in the first 6 months. Somehow got an overuse injury, kind of like came out of nowhere. And my knees never quite been the same. That was actually the thing that got me hiking, because I was doing cycling and I was hurt, couldn't do it. They said I'd be back in a couple of weeks. I wasn't. Started hiking, found Sierra Club, started doing everything possible through there, got every rating they had, yada yada. And here I am like 15 years later. I do enjoy cycling though. I have a racing Trek 5200 that I need to sell and get just kind of like a steel touring bike or something. Jen used to bike around town before she had a car. And there are some like longer touring options that we'd like to do. That's better. As usual, too many things we want to do, not enough time and money. I have had people where I'm talking about the plans to do the American Discovery Trail, which is the one that goes east-west across the country, and they're like, oh, no, you should cycle that. You shouldn't hike it. But, you know, I've hiked up and down the country multiple times now. It kind of seems like that's a good way to kind of put a top on it. And then there's all the shorter trails and international trails that I'm really hoping to do. I was talking to my Swedish friends the other day, and they were talking about some of the trails out there. The trick with some of the European trails is they require you to stay in like hostel bunks and things like that, and I only want to do the ones that actually allow wild camping, so no, I'm not doing any of the Caminos. But I have a friend who's out on the, I think, GR5 it's called, and there's some things like the Hexatrack that look interesting. It's just figuring out time, money, season, because like some of those, if we do the Te Aurora, however you pronounce it, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, Jen would have to take time off of school, and since she both loves her job and that's how we balance some of this stuff, that would be kind of difficult. We've talked about maybe her taking a sabbatical, though I don't know, I'm less excited about that trail now. I keep looking at all these other options, and so the ones that seem more commonly done, and that one, at least among my acquaintances, seems fairly well done. It just seems like there's more adventurous stuff out there. Like we're really excited for the Yukon right now, because that's not very commonly done. Okay, time to give up on outweighting the storms here and just get moving in the wet. Seems like there's a thunderhead that's just been sitting over there for hours, but also storms that are kind of shooting over top of me. But that's okay, just means I'll go through less water. It's just such a pain having to deal with the wet fly covered in pine needles. Okay. Here's hoping the trail doesn't spend too much time in open meadows or cow pastures while the electrical activity is going on. Traditionally, I haven't been the biggest fan of rain pants. Seem to just sweat inside them too much. But I did swap back to them in Colorado last year, just because it's the combination of the wet and the cold. It's wilderness first aid, they teach you the majority of hypothermia cases are not, 10 degrees. They're like 50s and 60s, where people just get a little too cold. And wind has a really, really harsh effect if you look at wind chill charts. Weather just can't decide what the heck it's going to do here. I had a ULA rain skirt I used from Montana down until partway through Colorado, at which point it was late in the season, and like right now I'm mostly wearing them due to the wind more than worrying about my legs getting wet. Compare that with the AT, where not only was I not wearing rain pants, I wasn't wearing a rain skirt, I wasn't even wearing pants a good chunk of the time, because anything I wore just got wet. So less clothing, less things that are never going to dry. Some of the local far out comments talking about there being cows and cow pies around and not wanting to use the water sources are kind of cute. Makes me think they skipped some of those sections of Idaho, and they're going to have a hell of a time in New Mexico once we get further south. Theoretically, the filters are going to get rid of anything harmful. They might leave a little bit of a tinge of color or a taste, but you're thirsty enough. that isn't going to bother you too much. I did carry a first need for one season, which is actually, it's filtration level is such that it even gets rid of viruses. So even if you have noro in the water sources, it'll strain it out. Problem is, clogs up way too quick. Something like this I would have no problem filtering out of. And there I go again, following a cow track instead of the CDT. I just wandered around until I found a down log, and sure enough, back on the CDT. It is just a glorious day out on the range. Storms just keep roiling all over the place. Got thunder, but haven't seen any lightning yet. If this keeps up, I may actually pull over. Other than the occasional wind break in the trees. This is pretty cold and miserable. Keep hoping it's gonna blow over with how hard the wind's hitting me. Sometimes on the ridge it's hitting so hard I'm staggering around. So the sun came out, so I took the opportunity to dry my rainfly. I don't like having it up there when I'm going under branches out here because it's too easy for me to misjudge stuff back there and snag it after I have to like go around and go under things. The last thing I want to do is rip my rainfly. Sun feels nice, but as always, the wind. Seems to be that ridge's turn, and I get a break. I have a feeling I'm going to be in for it again. Damn it. And the weather changes fast out here. Weather report was claiming the winds are about 50 miles an hour sustained. I take it this is the bathroom that CDT locked himself into after leaving town without supplies into a storm. So yeah, apparently in 2015 a thru hiker came out here and was snowed in and locked himself in the bathroom and died. Left a message scrawled on the outside that his body was going to be found in there. I really don't know enough about the details to say anything. Oh, the lack of wind is glorious. And welcome to below 10,000 feet for the first time in a very long time. Just a brief dip. I'm gonna have to fill up water here. It looks like it's gonna be about a 20-mile water carry until the next reliable spot. There are some cow tanks, but those look silty and filled with cow poop. I can drink out of those in an emergency, but that's just gonna kill my filter. When Jen is with me, we'll sometimes keep one filter for the good sources and then use one on those emergency sources. Here I'm thinking I'm just going to try and push all the way through. I'll fill up my CNOC after I fill up my bottles. My bottles will get me through tonight and maybe about 10 miles. And then I'll have some extra just in case. Okay, last non-cow pond for a while, so nighttime water and tomorrow water. Oh, damn it. Another thunderstorm headed this way, it looks like. God, this sucks. Thunder and lightning got rather close, so I'm in a stand of trees waiting for it to go by. Fortunately, I'm nowhere near the high point, but I don't like being out in the open in these meadows and whatnot when you've got stuff this close. And with how fast the weather moves out here, it'll probably be by in a couple of minutes. Otherwise, maybe I need to think about stopping. Just saw a whole herd of elk. Damn it. They just ran. Oh, there's one. Just ran when I got the camera going. I was trying to find some cover and the rain just started coming down worse, so I had to set up and make do. I am happy to be out of the rain now, but I hate stuff getting this wet, especially when it's this cold. It's right around the rain-snow line, as you can see from the videos. It wasn't that bad till that last water stop. If I'd known it was going to be coming down this much, I would have pulled over there, but oh well. And if it's raining like this in the morning, I'm just going to hold. I've got food, I've got water. I'm not hiking in this unless I really have to.